here we go with the Fairisle toddler yoke sweater sleeve number 2. Okay, so now we are going to knit sleeve number 2. We need 28 left and 28 right. We're just going to bring them a little bit forward. Basically to B. Now I do not expect to have exactly the same number of stitches as we did on sleeve 1, but we will do our best and see how it goes. We are still going to do the sew as you go, hence the reason for 2 cameras. The number of stitches is a guide, it's not set in stone. No one's going to notice if you have 2 extra stitches. Or if you have 2 less stitches. Or just 1 stitch. Okay, so in this case, I have the exact amount. 1, 2, and this one is 3. Okay, I'm going to bring these all forward. Now we're picking up the next one. Picking up the stitch. Make sure that we grab the right stitch. I'm going to open these latches here. Okay, now we are really weird here because it looks like we will have the exact amount of stitches on this side as well. And then there's this one. It's just hiding. Should we have all of it? Yeah, we do. Alright, that doesn't usually happen. So we have all of our stitches on both halves. We didn't lose any, we didn't gain any. It's kind of weird. I'll take it though. Alright, just like we did before, I'm going to hang a triangle weight in the center with a small weight on it. 2 claw weights that do not interfere with our sew as you go. Now we do have the right side which we need to hang, so I am going to carefully move the end stitch up I'm just going to very carefully put the first stitch, just like we did before, of what is actually the front onto the end needle here, because we're doing so as you go. Introducing our yarn. Our tension is 7. This is row 1, and we're knitting across to the right. We now need to increase both sides. Move the purl bump. We need to increase opposite side, so the left side. Move the purl bump. Now we need to look at the stitch line here. We need to move the long stitch onto the first stitch. Yet again, we have extremely long stitch. I don't know why, but we'll fix it later. You should be at 29 and 29, knitting across for row 2. Row 2, we need to find the purl bump of that original stitch. That is the purl bump of the original stitch. Hanging it onto stitch 30, bringing up to stitch 35 forward, and we will use that purl bump to do double E wrap, and then we will hang the armhole from the back onto the left side of the bed. Okay, coming back here, taking those stitches, hanging them on. I'm just easing it on however I feel it needs to go. No hard and fast rule on this one. Now the weird hole here, I'm just going to take the stitch from underneath. Actually the purl bump this time. Purl bump from underneath, give it a quarter twist, and clog that hole. We're now going to knit across after we hang the next stitch that is long, and we almost forgot to do the increase. So let's increase first. We move 2, that same purl bump, move an extra 2, and now we have a good purl in the body of our sweater color. I'm going to take that end stitch, hang it on the piece, and bring those out. We will now knit across, and then we will do massive increase on the right hand side and no increase on the left hand side. Okay, so we need to find that actual purl bump, which is being chased. So the actual purl bump is right here, hanging that on stitch 31. We're going to move all the way out to stitch 35. double E-wrap. Find these stitches. Hang it on. Doesn't matter which ones you hang, as long as they're all covered. If you think that that is a hole, remember, this is your first stitch. You can draw it up. Now, I am going to put an extra yarn loop onto stitch 29 just for that little bit of security, and stitch 30 forward. From here on in, there are no more increases, but we will start doing decreases. So this is now row 4. We can now move our claw weights to the end because they're not going to interfere anymore. We have 5 more rows and then we start doing our decreases. This is row 9, decrease. We will now be decreasing every 9th row, 1 stitch, both sides. So row 18, decrease. Remember, we have 105 rows before we do ribbing. Knit another 9 and then decrease. (27) decrease. (36) decrease. Row 44. Okay, so row 44, 1 more row to go. I was mistaken. Row 45 is the decrease. Knitting across. (54) is the decrease. Okay, 9 more rows. $63 decrease. Again, we are more than halfway done. Oops, yet again, lost my knit radar here. So 72 will be our decrease. Row 73. Row 81. Decrease. Now's a good time to move the weights up, so I'm going to do that again. You should be at 26 and 26. I'm just going to move the claw weights a little bit below the wedge weight or triangle weight. Deep breath, going across. 26. Either side, row 84. Row 89, decrease. Okay, row 97, this is your last decrease. Now we knit to row 105. Row 105, we are done knitting, and now we will set up for the ribbing. Now we are going to transfer for our ribbing for the last time. So yet again, reset your row counter for all zeros. Start at the second last stitch and do your transfers. I'm going to do one more and then we'll meet back when I'm further along. We are at the last couple stitches. Pushing that down. One click. And behind. That's about 0. Pushing that up. Looks pretty good. 2 small barrel weights, so put one new one on 20. Take the one off the bottom, put that on 20. Remove the triangle weight. Remove claw weights because we don't need them. We need to make sure that we don't have any of these stitches forward that need to be back. Everything looks pretty cool and copacetic. So now we need to check to make sure we're at tension 5. Tension 5. Are all of my cameras working? Yes, they are. Okay. 15 rows. Everything's good. And that is row 15. We will now transfer and then we will cast off. Not going to bore you. I'm going to pause. Here we go. There we are. It's the final countdown. As usual, I'm going to pause till I'm closer. I decided to give you an up-close view. Alright, I'm going to snip it. And then return. Whoa. Okay, so now we're going to pull down a little bit. Just get those stitches forward. Remove the weights. Grab my latch tool. Now we're going to latch tool off. Oh, I should close those latches first. Okay. Last bit of knitting. Uh-oh. Okay, I gotta save that. It's not good. This is probably my worst fear. Okay. Okay. Whew, that was bad. All right. 1, 2. So now our sweater is, well, it's all knit. Now we just have to do some sewing. Sewing is up to you. What do you want to do? I'm going to back this all up so you can have a better look. Okay, so this is the sweater. Once it's all sewn together, it'll look a lot different because it'll be, well, everything won't be curled. So, we'll come back when this is completely sewn together. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I'm looking at the collar and the head, and I don't think this collar is going to fit over a 5-year-old's head or a 6-year-old's head. If I remember correctly, they are a little, what's the term? Big-headed. So what we are going to do is we are going to take a few minutes. We're going to hang the yoke and the collar, and we're going to make a button band. And then, of course, on the opposite side, we will make a buttonhole band. What we need to decide is which is the front, which is the back, because I think we should have the button holes on the front and the button band on the back. But we'll be back to do that in another video. Meh, why not make a button wedge instead? Let's go.